Okay, so hey guys, and welcome back to another weekly fighting roundup. And in today's video, of course, we've got the boxing and MMA news. And if you're on around 10 yet, subscribe, please do so. Like the video if you like the video, and let's get straight into it. So, going to be started off with the boxing, as of course. And so, starting this week, Yafai is set to fight Frank on the 19th of August. Briedis will fight McCallum on the 21st of July. Torres Jr., Delgado, Vargas, Martinez, Rodriguez versus Ayala, Moraes and Rivacaba will all fight on the 1st of September, I believe. I might be wrong with that date. Watson has been ordered to fight Lalemand has been ordered to fight Lalemand. The IBF have ordered Matias versus Gashev. Donaire will fight Santiago on the 15th of July. McCaskill will fight Ryan. That's not got a date announced yet or a place announced yet, but that is a big fight which is going to definitely answer the question of if McCaskill is still at that very world top level, as I mean she's coming off a bit of a lackluster performance herself, and of course she lost, and Ryan is going to answer the question of if she can fight at world level, and it's obviously a quick step, but it's going to see if it's a good step or not. Dean the Great and a mystery opponent will fight Yudi Gang TV and APAP on the 22nd of July. Silv will fight Silver on the 5th of August. Masood has joined Matchroom. Betway is set to fight Harris. Zhang will rematch Joyce on the 23rd of September. Seems like between them two is the only kind of heavyweight fights that actually can be made somewhat easily at the moment, and it's surely going to be another interesting, entertaining fight, and looking forward to it, of course. Fury won't be fighting Usyk in December in Saudi Arabia, just to back up my point of there not being many heavyweight fights easy to make at the moment. Yeah, of course, Fury not fighting Usyk now in December is obviously not good, and is a real shame, to be completely honest, and it's seemingly Fury that's ruining a lot of the Saudi Arabia talks, but it's also like Saudi Arabia, that whole kind of thing going on with that is just seemingly overpricing the whole kind of fight game in general. I think people are going to look at the prices that these Saudi Arabian people are coming in and offering and being like, oh well, we should get that fight in general, and we should get that for that much money over in the UK or in anywhere, and so they're just going to overprice themselves a bit, and I think Fury is very good at overpricing himself. Wood won't fight Warrington next. That's a bit of a sad one. As a local kind of person, to me, that would have been a real good fight, which one, of course, I want to see, but yeah, it doesn't seem like it's going to be happening next. Smith is 100% fit to fight Eubank Jr. in September. Golovkin has had an offer to fight Ryder in Kazakhstan. Canelo will fight Charlo on the 30th of September. That's seemingly confirmed now. I'm not sure if it's 100%, but Canelo, I mean, he posted it himself, so you'd like to think that means it's somewhat 100%. It's surprising that it's that Charlo. That came out of nowhere. I don't actually know which one it is, Jamal. I should probably know, but I know it's not the one everybody thought it would be. It's the other one. And that's the one who was supposed to fight Zoo. So it is a real shame. To be completely honest, I don't really I like the fight, but I also don't like the fight. It's a big fight and it's two undisputed fighters, but I do really want Zoo to get a world title shot, and I feel like he thoroughly deserves it. And to be completely honest, if that fight's going to happen, I'd like to see Charlo move in weight and vacate the belts and let Zoo fight for the belt, because I really want Zoo to fight for the world title. Fury has left Queensbury. That is Tommy Fury. Ramirez has called out Jack. Horn has retired. Prasotri won via TKO in round 2 versus Monthong. Duanhai won via TKO in round 1 versus Chibakongklan. Deuce Donsua won via TKO in round 5 versus Ponloy. Prabstabsri won via TKO in round 8 versus Tanaka to remain WBC World Minimum Weight Champion. Pretty much what I predicted to an extent. I think I said it would have been decision again, but fair play to Pradrabsi. Did what he had to do and won convincingly, and it silenced any kind of doubters, and hopefully now only big fights from now on. Rodriguez won by unanimous decision versus Damiani. Kulakai won via KO in round 2 versus Monzon. Husben won by unanimous decision versus Garcia. Oliha won by unanimous decision versus Alamos to become the IBO World Middleweight Champion. I think I got that one right. Gualtieri won by unanimous decision versus Falcao to become IBF World Middleweight Champion. That was quite a surprising one, to be fair. Fair play to Gualtieri. I mean, deserved win, of course, and it's just surprising because everybody kind of rooted against him, including myself. But I mean, he had that hometown advantage and he managed to get the victory, and seemingly, to be fair to him, has a lot of support, and so respect to him. Is kind of messed up the kind of whole Top Rank thing of them possibly having a champion with Falcao, but I would probably like to imagine Gualtieri will probably fight like Janabek next. That would not surprise me, to be completely honest, just so Top Rank still getting these big middleweight fights, unless somebody comes out of nowhere and snaps it up. Uchida won via TKO round 4 versus Samurai. Mizuguchi won via TKO round 3 versus Takahashi. Yamazaki won by TKO round 1 versus Chankam. Ishii won by KO in round 2 versus Wichita. Ogawa won by unanimous decision versus Tanaka. Shimamachi won by unanimous decision versus Owan to become Japanese Boxing Commission Super Bantamweight Champion. TJ Doheny won by TKO round 4 versus Nakajima to become WBO Asia Pacific Super Bantamweight Champion. Chapman is set to fight Furtado on the 18th of August. Joshua versus Wilder is virtually agreed for December or January. Great news. Also great news, heavyweight division. White has signed the contract to fight Joshua on the 12th of August. So seemingly positives amongst some negatives with Fury, but seemingly a few positives. And every week the heavyweight division is changing at this point, so it would not surprise me if come next week both of them fights aren't even happening. But you'd like to hope, and you've got to be hoping. Hunter won by points versus Bavington. Whitaker won by TKO round 8 versus Belajewski. Jonas won by TKO round 8 versus White to become IBF World Welterweight Champion. Got that one bang on. Simpson won by unanimous decision versus Crichton. Jeffers won by unanimous decision versus Chelly. That was quite a big upset, and is going to make. I probably would assume that Mark Efron will fight the next one, being Jeffers next, or they'll rematch it. Not entirely sure, but it'll be interesting to see what goes on with Sky and Boxer and Chelly next. Marshall won by majority decision versus Cruz Dezern to become IBF, WBA, WBC and WBO World Super Middleweight Champion. That was an amazing victory for Marshall, exactly what she needed. She fought very well. I doubted her amongst some others who did, but I will actually say Cruz Dezern to win. Of course she didn't, but fair play to Marshall. She did thoroughly outbox her. Probably should have been a unanimous decision, to be completely honest, and like I said, congratulations to Marshall getting these belts now. It seems like Shields is all over this fight weekend, been very eager to get another fight. I feel like she sees that the money's there and is just wanting that again and wanting it in her home city, her home country, and it's understandable. She wants the biggest fights for her home country, and there's not really many other ones bar Shields or Cruz Dezern, to be completely honest. For Shields, bar Marshall or Cruz Dezern, and so it'd be interesting to see if it will be super middleweight. Probably will be, I'd imagine, but either way, I'd imagine it will be in America. But very good performance from Marshall. Levas won by points versus Motos. O'Regan won by points versus Ellison. Boston won by points versus Amos. Ferreira won by points versus Mora. Sylvester won by unanimous decision versus Cope to become English lightweight champion. Price won by stoppage in round 7 versus Beach Jr. to become WBA Continental Featherweight Champion. McCormack won by stoppage in round 4 versus Dixon to become WBA Continental Super Welterweight Champion. Smith won by TKO round 7 versus Maxwell to become British and Commonwealth Champion. And overall, this card was, in my opinion, a very, very entertaining, good card. And I mean, maybe I'm just being biased or whatever, but I mean, I was there ringside, and if you haven't watched the press conference, I'd recommend going on my channel and watching it, because this whole card was so entertaining and everything about it was so good. I mean, Levas, O'Regan, Ferreira, all great performances. Feel bad a bit for Cope. That was a bit of a questionable win either way for Sylvester, but you got to congratulate him for what he did do there. Boston, great performance. Feel a bit bad for Amos, but either way, Boston did deserve to win that, and he did outbox him. Price, great fight, great win, definitely what he needed. Shows that he can fight very well in the featherweight division. Definitely improved throughout. McCormack, amazing victory. great stoppage. I'm sure it would have been a massive knockout in the next round if it was allowing that to happen, and is looking like one of the best English kind of prospects around at the moment. I wouldn't even call him a prospect now, to be completely honest. He's got a title. But Smith, wow, what a knockout that was. I feel like, to be fair, Smith is becoming one of, if not my favourite fighter around at the moment. I mean, every time I go see him now, which to be fair has only been twice, but both of the times they've been emphatic knockouts and great victories. First being the O Mason fight, and this one being the Maxwell fight, an amazing knockout. And his crowd always gets so much behind him, and he's such an entertaining fighter in my opinion. And I hope only the best for him, and hopefully now he moves on to really big fights. And like I said, it was been a pleasure to be around this whole fight week and be a part of it all. Go watch any of my interviews over on the Slothbox channel if you have not done so already. And hopefully more fight weeks to come. Dalton Smith fight weeks especially, great fight weeks, and hopefully just more in general. Probably will be doing any ones that are around me, to be completely honest. There's rumours, like I've been mentioning, of the UFI one, so that might be happening. I might try rock up to that. If not, Lee Wood, when he's about, whatever, I'll try get about and keep you guys posted. If you are wanting to see anything from me that isn't on this channel, go on to Axel72YT Instagram and you can have a look and see, and I'll keep you posted on there. But yeah, moving on from that amazing card. McCreary won by unanimous decision versus Julio. Ward won by majority decision versus Al-Mashahadi. Ware won by unanimous decision versus Perez. Mason won by TKO in round 2 versus Oliveira. Benjamin won by TKO in round 1 versus Zola. Johnson won by unanimous decision versus Montreal. Flaz won by majority decision versus Tucker. Makhmudov won by TKO in round 2 versus Akbedjiori to remain North American Federation heavyweight champion. That is a great victory again for him. I predicted that bang on and knew that would be the case. And he's definitely going to need a big step up in opponents now because he's just blasting everybody out. Anderson won by a majority decision won by unanimous decision versus Martin to remain WBC, USA and WBO International Heavyweight Champion. Was a good victory for Anderson. He looked solid. I feel like any of the people just slagging him off is just haters, to be completely honest, saying that he's not a world title fighter. I don't think he could go in and fight a top 10 right now, but I don't think he's far off. I think this was a good step up for him. I feel like maybe to an extent he was underestimating Martin and thinking he's only coming in on 2 weeks notice, he should be able to get him out of there, and everybody was kind of bigging that up. But as a young fighter, you tend to see that quite often, and I don't hate his performance in general. Looked good. I quite like to see that he did take a couple punches, and it's not a bad thing. I think that's going to only help with him and the development. I feel like pretty much every fighter at some point is going to have a lackluster performance, especially even just world title fighters. They always occasionally have lackluster performances, and so there's nothing wrong with that. It doesn't mean you have to go hate on them, and it's still a good performance. This was definitely still a convincing win, so it wasn't that bad, and I still think he's definitely able to get to that world title level, but just got to give it time, to be completely honest. And I mean, he's been moving quickly already, so no harm in taking a little bit more time now. Nonchinger won by unanimous decision versus Ashuganob to remain IBF World Light Flyweight Champion. And Franklin is set to fight Wright Jr. on the 15th of July. And that is it for the boxing news. Moving on now to the MMA news. Grasso versus Shevchenko 2 and Rachmanov versus Gastelum will fight on the 16th of September. Holland has offered Magdalena a fight for UFC at 290. Ruziboev won via KO in round 1 versus Ferreira. St. Denis won by submission in round 1 versus Bonfim. Lipski won via decision versus Gatto. Marias won via decision versus Griffin. Dawson won via decision versus Ismagulov. Strickland won via KO in round 1 versus Magomedov. That was a good victory for him. I mean, it shows that he's still a top 15 ranked guy and he's better than anybody outside the top 15, but he's definitely showed that Magomedov was nowhere near that level. Fakhretdinov won by submission in round 1 versus Lee, and Romanov won by decision versus Ivanov. And that is it for today's video. Hope you enjoy. Like it if you didn't, like this, subscribe if you're new, and thanks for watching.